Before we can do anything on a blockchain, we need some sort of access and we need a wallet. And with MetaMask, we somehow get both in a convenient way that it's directly installed in the browser. So I've opened up here the website for MetaMask. It's metamask.io. Be careful, there are a couple of scammers out there. So make sure that you are on the right MetaMask website. Just make sure it's metamask.io. And then we can add it to our browser. I have the Chrome browser here. There is a plugin for Brave, or I think Brave even has it installed already. There's a plugin for Firefox. I think for Safari, you can have MetaMask on your mobile phone for iOS and Android, as far as I know. And it features an in-app wallet. So I think it's a pretty convenient app. And I'm using it basically every day. You can even attach your hardware wallet to it, which is extra convenient. Okay, so what do you do with MetaMask? You download it for Chrome over here. It redirects you to the Chrome Web Store, and then you basically just add to Chrome, add the extension. Takes a little bit, and it should pop up in a second. And then it directly redirects you to the setup procedure. So when you first start MetaMask, you run through the setup and you get a seed phrase. Let me show you what I mean. Get started. No, I already have a seed recovery phrase if you already have one. Or if you don't have one, then let's get set up. And this is what you want to do the first time. So you get a seed phrase. You can help improve MetaMask or not. Either way, it doesn't really matter. And I don't have any recommendation here. And then you set up a new password, and that should be a strong password. It is not a password for a server. It is a password to encrypt your local store that is stored inside your browser. So that whatever you do in MetaMask now is not going to be sent to any centralized server. So there is no database to be cracked. It is, if somebody gets access to your computer, that he is not able to decrypt or to get access to MetaMask and to your keys and your funds and so on. So make it strong enough that if you lose your laptop or you forget it somewhere, you have somebody using it, that he cannot get access to it so easily. So I'm just choosing a random password now, read to the terms, and now comes the important part. They even made a video about it. That is the secret recovery phrase. So this phrase is unique for every MetaMask user, hopefully. It is a 12 words mnemonic, so that you can easily write it down or save it somewhere. And you can easily reuse it if you reinstall MetaMask on a new computer. So what you should do here is you copy this and then print it out and put it in a safe or store it somewhere really, really safe. And I'm going to talk about this also in some of the slides that I'm going to show you in one of the next lectures, why this is so important. But if you lose access to MetaMask, that's the only thing that can bring access back. So there is no recovery, there's nothing that the MetaMask team could do because there's nothing stored on their servers. Everything is locally in your wallet. So that's the only thing you really have to be careful about. Copy this, save it somewhere safe. So I'm just going to paste it for now into my editor and then print it out later. And now obviously I'm not going to use this seed phrase for anything other than the course. But you need to reconfirm the seed phrase on the next page. So it's exchange glance wage example, just is serial, balance rigid curtain 8 sky, balance rigid curtain 8 sky. Once I confirm this, then MetaMask knows, okay, I really have copied my seed phrase somewhere safe. I've written it down. and it's not going to remind me anymore. If you don't do this, then MetaMask will occasionally pop up and tell you like, hey, you should save your seed phrase somewhere safe. It's really important, and it is important. So if I can recommend you one thing, keep the seed phrase safe. What happens next is that you get access to MetaMask, and MetaMask has a couple of features that are not so obvious for a first-time user. So let me just quickly highlight them. Okay, so over here on the top, you have a network selector. And that network selector is here to select the different Ethereum networks. When I click on it, then initially you have nothing, but you can show and hide the test networks. And that is very important because we are going to work with test networks here. We are not going to spend any real Ether. We are not going to spend any real Ether. We are going to spend only testnet Ether, which are for free. So when I click now, I have the different test networks, and I can also add my own networks, which is also something we're doing later on. If you work with test networks, they are like a dev database. They are a completely separate environment. They have nothing to do with the real Ethereum mainnet, other than they work exactly the same. So you can run smart contracts, you can interact with each other. All the rules that are applied to the mainnet are also applied to the test networks, just that you get Ether for free. Okay, on the next thing, you have the kind of like a settings, accounts menu, like a MetaMask main menu. And over here, you can not only lock it, which I also recommend when you go away from your computer, but it also auto locks. You can add new accounts, you can import accounts from private keys, you can connect your hardware wallet, or you can go into the settings. There is one setting I very much recommend you to know, that is here in the advanced tab, the reset account setting. So if you work with different test networks, especially as a developer, it has something to do with the nonce. The nonce is for each and every transaction, that's a number that's getting incremented. And sometimes MetaMask gets confused when you work on different test networks or on your own development networks. In case a transaction gets stuck, just remember reset account. So that very often helps. Other than that, I can recommend to go through the settings yourself, have a look, see if you find anything that you want to personalize or whatever. We probably won't need it, and if we need it, I'm going to mention it separately. So now we are getting to the actual main window over here. You have a couple of buttons here and a couple of things that are important to understand. The one is your account. You can rename that over here in the account details. You can rename that account. More important is the actual address. When you click on it, you can copy it. So that is a feature that you will need very often. This is why I'm highlighting it. Then on the mainnet, you get a buy button where you can actually buy Ether, real Ether, on the test networks like the Robston test network, which might get sunsetted soon when ETH 2.0 comes out. When the POS merge comes out, and it will be a different test network. It really doesn't matter for us as long as you're on one of the test networks. The buy button will still be there, but you will be redirected to a faucet. And the faucet is a place where you can get Ether for free for testing. Now there is no mainnet faucet, at least I don't know anything, because there's the ETH on mainnet costs real money. The faucets are usually there for testnet, and if you see some mainnet faucet, be careful, it's usually a scam. Okay, but I will show you in the next lecture a different faucet which worked for me very well. So sometimes the MetaMask faucet doesn't work, and there's a couple of problems with them. Obviously, the incentive to run a faucet is very low because it just costs money, it doesn't bring anything. Okay, then there's a send button, and that is the next thing which is important, which we are going also to do in the next lecture. We can send Ether, money, we can send transactions from one account to the other. And that's everything I wanted to talk about right now. If you came so far, you have set up MetaMask correctly. There is one more thing. If you close this, how can you get back to MetaMask? And that is over here. There must be somewhere the MetaMask extension over here in the extensions. So you can just pin this to your browser, I don't know, extensions area. I don't know how this is called. extensions tray maybe. And then you have MetaMask over here. It actually pops up like this. It seldom pops up as a full page window. It's a little pop-up over here on the right top. When you click it, then you have all the same features that you saw in the full screen window also over here. Yeah, that's it. I will see you in the next lecture where we are getting some test Ether and we are going to send our first transaction and we are following it on Etherscan.